I've been creating for sure. For sure. But I'm stuck. And I think I'm doing it to myself. I've come across some kind of self sabotaging bullshit. Okay, so listen, you know what? I'm not wearing this shirt for any reason except that I was working downstairs in the bar and it might get messed up because it's a little tight on me. And I don't care for the shirt too much. I mean, whatever, Floyd, I love the music and whatnot. It has nothing to do with that. That's why I was wearing it. So I come up here and, well, I go out and I'm looking at the moon and I see that half of the rabbit is showing. The bottom half is not showing. The bottom half is on the dark side. And I'm sitting there going, well, last night, all I saw was a couple of the ears coming out, and I thought, hey, that's the rabbit ears. And the rabbit ears, for me in the past, the whole rabbit thing was upside right, on the right side. I lived in New Jersey, if that makes a difference, when I was a child, and it was on the right side. It was upside right, and it was a rabbit. And I remember that because I have a trigger point for that as a child. My parents were showing me, and I'm going, I don't see it. I don't see the rabbit. And then finally, I kind of saw what they were showing me. I'm like, oh, okay. That was upside right. And then the Mandela effect occurs and the rabbit's upside down. It's still on the right hand side. I don't know when that happened. I just noticed it within the last year and a half or 2 years when people were talking about it and changes in the moon. And the only thing I ever noticed about the moon was that the dark side was always the same side as the sky. That's what it always was for me, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense either. Oh, it's the atmosphere and the way the sunlight reflects off the atmosphere that shines my ass into whatever. Okay, I get it. Okay, so I accepted that without questioning it. Whatever their reply or their response was, that's whatever I questioned. That's what it was. Whoever I got that from, I just accepted it. And now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, the dark side of the moon. The moon is always dark on one side of the moon. That's my intake. That's what I recall. I remember being taught or told that the moon does not spin and the one side always faces the sun even as it goes around the earth. We'll use my head as the earth. The moon's going around it and the sun is, that's why we always see the same side lit up. Okay? So there's a dark side that has never seen the light of day. And there's a light side that is always light. And it doesn't get real hot or anything because of the atmosphere and other space stuff. But I'm sitting here looking at this half moon, okay? Now, it just came into my window within the last couple hours. This is exactly what I saw earlier tonight. And less of that. I mean, I just saw the ears. Now I am looking at the rabbit upside down. It's turned a little bit. It's a half moon, but I don't see the bottom of the rabbit. And I keep looking at it closer and closer to make sure that's the piece that I'm looking at. It is the piece. The bottom of the rabbit is on the dark side of the moon right now. Well, how's that possible if the dark side of the moon has never seen the light of day and the day side has never seen night? I keep thinking, well, I've never really looked at the moon this long. Well, yeah, I have, but I never studied it like this. And this is with the naked eye. Okay, I'm not, I haven't gotten my P900 or P1000 or whatever they got out there now. And this bothers me. Can I get some comments on this? The dark side of the moon. Half of the rabbit is on the dark side of the moon. To me, that would be impossible. Let's see what else we got.
Regular churches, because most people, as before, destroy with lack of knowledge. They haven't studied into those books of Adam and Eve. They haven't really went in there. They don't, okay, I'll take the story at face value. There you go. Good. And you're awarded with these tidbits of epiphany moments and information given. You find out, see, they walked with God in the garden. They were creatures of light. They were a form or an order of angels. You have seraphim, you have Nephilim, you have the archangels, you have the watchers. There's all these different orders of angels, and they're called principalities. There's kings and princes and powers, and all of these are different orders of angels. And man was an order of angelic. Okay? When they sinned against God or went and did what they weren't supposed to because they fell for the trick of Satan. Lucifer at the time, he was the angel of light. He was the light bearer. That was his name, Lucifer. And his name was changed to Satan when he was cast down and made the prince of darkness. And that was given, the light was taken away, so he's given darkness. That was his deal. When he was cast down, man's sin caused him to be cast out of the garden. Well, the being, that light being, couldn't exist, as it were, there's nothing there. I mean, they didn't have eternity yet. They didn't know good from evil until they took of the fruit. They were cast out of that garden in that spirit realm, that dimension above ours. And when they were cast down, they were made to encompass the flesh. They were made into a physical body. So God is a fire or a light. This is a light kind of thing. This is not about being with fingers and toes and that kind of thing, okay? So when everybody says we're in the image and likeness of God or in the image and likeness of Christ, we were. Man was that way, but not now. We were cast into this flesh. Our spirit, when it leaves this, the Bible says the body goes back to the dust of the earth from whence it came, and the ruach, or the soul, or the spirit, who you are, goes back to him that gave it. We're the breath. God breathed into the nostrils of man, and he became a living soul. And that's how we have become this flesh that we're in. Now, this makeup, this place we exist in, is on a mathematical scale. So people talk about simulation and things like that. As the knowledge, and then from the fallen all the way back to even before the flood, when they all came down and knew the daughters of men was teaching war and all kinds of different things to mankind. That's why the deluge came, because of the fall of the angels. It wasn't because of man's sin, it's because of the angelics had discredited and disrupted man and screwed up the DNA, basically. Played with the mathematics where they shouldn't have. And that was given down to the city of Atlantis. Atlantis was where those fallen dwelt. They were the Nephilim. They were the ones that were there. The offspring of woman, and the angelics turned themselves into men. And they have the ability to do these things. And we do too. We have abilities that are far surpass our wildest dreams if we would just tap into it.
If we would just tap into it.
These things you see me do, you will do greater things.
I know that.
Yes, we have the ability to do things, but the problem is man, because we follow that same suit of greed, because we've been implanted with it through this dimension of mathematical equations that create the atoms and the atomic structures and all of this. Prince of the air, the Lord of this world or this realm, is Lucifer. He's given time to run about, as it were. Even though God made it all, and it all belongs to God, ultimately He wants to give us the free choice. And the choice, of course, is whether or not we serve Him, or we serve ourselves, or we serve Satan. By not serving God, you're automatically in the wrong bunch. You're one or the other. But God's not going to hold a gun to your head and say, okay, tell me you love me. Because if He did, you'd say you love him just to spare yourself. It wouldn't be your heart. It says we love him because he first loved us. And once we really make that connection with him, once you have that real supernatural experience with God, it's like the angel experience you had with the stars or those beings of part of the heavenly host, those things that came and made you aware of things, and your do-over time with your fall, and all of these things, the experiences on the supernatural realm that you've experienced, that you talk about, you would love to be able to walk in that realm all the time, or to live there all the time, or experience it all the time.
Experience it again.
The flesh couldn't handle it. We really couldn't. The flesh just could not handle that ecstatic state, because the more you're in it, the deeper it gets, the better it gets. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
And so we crave, once you've had that experience, you crave to have that again. You crave to have it back, so that you're constantly wanting more. And God will bless you with more. He'll give you more if you really seek him out for it and need those doors open. The problem is once we realize that we're these spirit beings, we either make a decision to serve ourselves and to make our own reality based upon what we want rather than what God wants. If we're trying to be pleasing and serving God, then he opens doors that are a mass that we could never even have conceived to start with, and lets us have freedom to create that reality we exist in. But in that, there is no fear. That's the whole point. A lot of people talk about, oh, well, there's fear of this, and you're afraid of the end of the world, and all this. It's like, well, no, there is no end. This world will end, of course. This flesh time goes away. And then there's the spirit realm that goes on for eternity. That's what we look forward to, those of us that serve and have this insight, as it were. We're not looking for the demise of man. I don't want nobody to be in pain or in hurt. I want everybody to come to the understanding and knowledge of what it's really about, why we exist in the first place. But they need to understand this flesh is temporal. It's just it's a boot camp. It's a trying ground, so that you can make your decisions by the experiences you encounter in your life. And some people get stronger and grow more spiritually. Their frequency rises. People that are super spiritual, they're not afraid of anything. They have no fear. They have no cares, it seems like. Even though the world's closing in on them, and they'll give their life in a heartbeat. How many people are willing to lose their head over the name of their Savior? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is that in this flesh, though, where we fall is because once we've had a taste of success or things are going our way because God is allowing blessing.
Physically.
We've done something good. We get greedy. We get greedy. And then we want to put God in the backpack. We don't want to call on him until we're on our deathbed or until somebody's dying, and we're like, Lord, can you bring them out of the deathbed, or can you make this person well, or will you help me with this or that or whatever. When we start having those kinds of issues, that's when we want to call on God. But when things are going good, we want to say, look at me, and beat our chest and say, see what I've done, see what I've done. And the fact is we wouldn't even exist if God did not allow it. Just like, in the existence, when you were around those star beings or whatever they were, I like to refer to them as angelic hosts, part of the hosts of heaven. We don't know which order they were from, but it's obviously they were higher than human. And in any moment, you would have had some fear there somewhere. You may not really have felt fear.
Well, I didn't want them to see me. I was shocked. I don't know how much fear. I mean, I'm sure there was some fear there. I mean,
respect though, not because you were afraid they were going to kill you.
It was shock. I thought the first star that came at me. Yeah, I thought it was over. I thought that was it. The thing was coming at me. I couldn't move. I tried to move. It came right at me, came right at my heart, and I just gave up. And once I gave up, that's when it went back as a rubber band, like a rubber.
See, and that's the thing. You succumbed.
Yes.
Once you succumbed, the fear went away.
Yeah. I gave in. I said, well, this is it. This is it. I mean, what am I going to do? And that's my whole point about, if God wants to do something to you, just, succumb, give up. I mean, because if he wants you to exist, you exist. If he wants to blink you out, you're done. So say what you want. He wants you to say what you want. He wants you to express yourself physically.
That's right. And that's another point. If we weren't to have the experiences, I mean, think about this, okay? God being all-knowing, he knows about the Mandela effect before it ever happened. He knows that the deceivers are doing what they're doing. He knows that man is in his creative state and manipulative state to try and control the world and all of these things. But he also knows those who see the changes mainly in their hearts and how they will be, and who will succumb and who won't, and who will stand true and who's got a true heart. He knows the heart, the intent of the heart. He knows our thoughts, bro, before we do, and always has. That's the amazing thing. But had he not intended for us to drink or taste, why would we have taste buds? If we weren't supposed to have pain sensors, what are the pain sensors for? Is it so we can suffer? No. It's so that when you hit your thumb, you know, ow, that hurts. I better not do that again or I won't have a thumb left. It's to protect the body that we're in. If we didn't have certain sensors in our body, we wouldn't be able to experience it. We wouldn't be able to walk. We have balance. We have thought patterns. He gives us a brain with open creativity that whatsoever a man thinketh, so he is. He gives us abilities so vast, and he gives us control over all the evil of the world. It's an amazing thing, but so few people really want to grasp that.
How did this conversation start?
Say again?
How did this conversation start?
I'm trying to recall. Something about you seeing... What was it?
The moon.
The moon. You were telling me about the moon because we didn't know how the moon worked exactly, and you asked me about the God thing.
And I've seen half the moon, a couple of the ears were showing from the upside down rabbit, and now I look at it, a little more of the rabbit showing, and I don't understand how that's possible if there's a dark side of the moon that's always dark and a light side of the moon that's always light.
Let me ask you this. You believe the earth is flat, correct?
I don't know what it is, man. You're not even you can get me to say I believe that. I don't know. I don't think it's a ball spinning and flying through space. I think it's a realm, and if it's going to be physical, it'd probably be a petri dish.
All I know is what we have as factual evidence. If it's not factual evidence, I don't know.
Right, I don't know.
I know one guy went up in a balloon, and he described it as what he would have called a dinner plate with upturned edges. Now,
wow, when was that?
Do what?
When was that?
That was the Picard guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he had a description of it.
Yes, it's in Popular Mechanics in 19... What year was that? Look up the Picard guy. He can tell you what year.
I will.
Shell just come in. She's looking. She heard me talking about Picard. It's in Newsweek or Popular Mechanics, rather, is the magazine it was in. And it gives a description of what he said it was like an upturned plate, or he said it's like a big plate upturned on the edges. So you know how a plate is? It's not really flat. 1931 is when she said what it said.
He said that in 1931.
She's looking up the article.
That's 10 miles high.
Okay.
Okay.
She's reading the article.
Dude, I put in Picard, Popular Mechanics. All I keep getting is Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Picard returns to Star Trek.
Okay, here's what he said. Here's it. Hold on, man.
Through the portholes,
Okay.
yeah,
it says...
Oh, here you go.
This is him giving in the first half hour of the balloon was shot up where 9 miles. Says, through portholes, the observer saw the Earth through copper-colored and then bluish haze. It seemed a flat disk with upturned edge. At the 10-mile level, the sky appeared a deep dark blue. With observation complete, the observers tried to descend but couldn't, while their oxygen tanks emptied, they floated aimlessly over Germany, Austria, and Italy. Cool evening air contracted the balloon's gas and brought them down on a glacier near Obergurgl, or whatever it's called, Austria. Anyway, so it says, through the portholes, the observer saw the Earth through copper-colored, then bluish haze. It seemed a flat disc with upturned edge.
Wow.
Now, that was the first person to go the highest, and immediately after
So
that,
that's proof, right? Is
when
that?
they went into the NASA deal and started all that. If you want to pull that up, it's Popular Science or Popular Mechanics, 1931, page 23. And it says, this is where most people have a problem. The lie is so ingrained in us. But that's his name, Professor Auguste, A-U-G-U-S-T-E, Auguste Piccard, P-I-C-C-A-R-D.
The article's called 10 Mile High.
Two season Picard, huh?
The article is called 10 Mile High, and if you pull that up on Google, I can even have Michelle send you the link if you want on the phone. That way you can pull right up the actual Popular Science thing. It's called
Was
10
it?
Miles.
You said it was page 23.
1931, page 23. And it's got pictures of the balloon and what he went up in and how he did it, and tells the whole article. And he's the first one to ever go that high and describe the Earth for the first time. After that, NASA was created, and they started the whole deal with the Antarctic treaties and all that, because we had the guy go down there in Antarctica.
They had to do something. Somebody caught it. They had to do something to keep the masses.
Yeah, well, if you recall, the Catholic Church for 500 years before had taught that the Earth was flat and under a dome.
Yeah, but we were told not to pay attention to that.
Yeah, the whole world was told this, and then they changed after this discovery, and it was finally realized that man could go that high, and for the first time, and then after that, he went into doing submarines, which was amazing.
You know, John. I'm thinking, what's it? Every 20 years. At this point, it's every 5 or 10 years. People aren't going to care. In 5-10 years, people don't care. In 10 years, the Mandela effect. I mean, if physical reality kept going the way it is, the Mandela effect would be just like, it'd be done. I mean, there'd be a small group of people still grasping onto it. But I sincerely feel,
Homecoming, but not for food and water, but for the hearing of the Word of God.
Yeah, but I really feel like physical reality is changing.
It is changing.
If it's not changing, the people that have noticed the changes are changing.
Yes.
To lift the veil and see the truth.
Do you still watch YouTube pretty good?
Occasionally, pretty good. I wouldn't say pretty good.
Still,
More than you. More than you have been. But not by much. I just go on there looking. Once in a while I'll get a comment mainly on that Picard video where somebody will say, "Oh my God, I'm totally freaked out by this Mandela effect thing now because of the Picard crystal." And I'm like, "Really? That's what did it?" Like,
check this one out. It's called the guy's name is called A Plain Truth, Plane Truth .info. That's his name on YouTube. It's A Plain Truth .info. Okay. And he's got some videos on there. He's got some interesting things. He's got one where, I don't know, Rocky hits a dome or something. So I think maybe he's a flat earth kind of person. I don't know. I haven't watched that much. The only reason I'm pointing this out is because there's a different video set that I want you to watch. I mean, you can watch whatever you want on there on this stuff.
I'll go check it out. No, I'll definitely check it out.
But it's A Plain Truth .info. And that's his YouTube name. And then the video you want to look for is called A Silent Target. I believe it's Silent Target. And it's 1 through 9. There's like 9 episodes.
Repeat the first thing.
A Plain Truth .info. That's his name on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Silent Target.
I believe it's called Silent Target, and it's got 1 through 9 episodes. So you want to watch all 9 of them. But it will tell you some stuff about some of the scalar technology, weaponry that's going on. There's just different things that are happening. But I think you, being the intellect, will find a lot of the information there interesting. Now, some of them are not so. I mean, like I said, glean what you can that you like, usable. Some of it I wouldn't hold a lot to. But,
I understand that.
you know, I mean, some's good, some's bad. You just take whatever. But ultimately, some of the information that's given there about some of the government projects and things that are taking place right now also could lend ear as to why we're seeing some of the changes with the people. The reason perhaps that the people are seemingly taking downloads the way they do. Now, I don't know this guy's Mandela effect. I don't even know if he's aware of it. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I've heard you talk about taking downloads. I've heard people actually consciously saying, "Okay, I want to take a download for this," and they would wait, and they would get a ring in the ear, and things would work out. And I'm like, well, if it's that easy, I've tried it a couple of times. I'm not getting anything. I'm like, hey, I want to shift into a time. I do better when I go, okay, and I concentrate and I sit and meditate, and I go, okay, I'm going to consciously shift myself into a timeline where everything is exactly the same except for this circumstance, and this is going to turn out better, and it does. And I, is it just because that's what was going to happen anyway, or is it just because that's what I believed?
Well, we have
Good morning, you two.
So many different things coming in right now, but I just gotta say, I just needed to sit and chill for a little bit, so I put in Corpse Bride, directed by Mike Johnson, not Tim Burton. That was the Mandela effect, because everybody believed it was Tim Burton that directed it. Then it turned into Mike Johnson. So I never watched it. I just bought the DVD and sat it up there with my collection, and now I decide, let me sit here and watch it. I need to just sit here and do nothing. I need to get away. And I thought doing this would do it. And of course, it's directed by Mike Johnson and Tim Burton.
most likely, probably, but I don't know.
Was that choice made?
Choices I'm making, but sometimes you have those deja vu's, and I think, okay, this shows I'm where I'm supposed to be, because it's, I've had this experience before, and there's a lot to this whole reality, this physical aspects of it that we really don't know, but they're tampering with so much. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, they're tampering with so much that I think that what's happening is just like they've tried to cover the truth about different aspects of our reality, just like the banking system or the political system and all these different things where it's a show to keep the populace at bay. I think ultimately a lot of the stuff that's going on with these changes, that they're real, that they've taken place for sure. I mean, too many of us can see. We have the eyes to see. We've been given insight, and we haven't been able to be manipulated. Our frequency is of a higher level, okay? I'll just leave it at that for the moment. Remember, ultimately, you're a light being. You're holding on to, you're just imprisoned in a flesh form for a time. But while we're here, we still have a choice of whether or not our frequency is high or low. And when you listen to this 1 through 9 series, I'm telling you, there's stuff when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my God, I got to get Suso to listen to this because it resonated. You know how you were feeling the temperament of some other people?
Yeah.
They become angry and then you were feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to blow you away. You got to really get this and watch all
I
nine.
got it.
It's a mind boggle. But here's
Silent
the thing.
Target.
Those of us that, I believe it's called Silent Target. I believe that's that's the, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if you go to his channel, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's a 1 through 9 series. He's got 9 of them. Watch all 9 of them in order. But here's the thing. Those of us that see the changes, okay, the powers that be or whoever it is doing these different experiments with whatever it is that they're working with, okay, they have to be wondering why we are seeing the changes, and the rest of the population, they just go right along with the change. They don't know. They're part of the hive mind.
I was often under the impression that they knew the percentage of people that could possibly see and wake up, and they feel the percentage is so small they don't care.
That's a part of it, but it's big enough that they've had to do Hollywood excerpts like with some of the shows to.
Well, sure, they have to keep it going. If they stop, then it'll be obvious and break open and everybody will know.
Right. I don't think it will because too many people are being. The majority of man is easily manipulated by their own choosing and their own belief systems. Remember, we know it said forgive us our trespasses.
For sure.
We know that. And to say it isn't is a lie. And the majority of the world believes the lie because of their own choosing. They have a denial. They'd rather live their own life and forget these changes. They have no concern for nobody but themselves. They could care less if anybody knows.
But that's where they are. Oh, you don't mean the elite. Or do you mean the elite?
I'm talking about the whole majority of mankind.
The majority, they just don't know any better, and it's because they've taken in everything the elite has given them. Do you know that the elite truly believe? At least this is what I've recently come across, and I don't know if this is true or not. Actually, I tend to feel that would be an excuse for them, or the elite believe that they are actually bringing in the light by doing the negative things they do. Is that something you told me?
Oh, I don't know if I've told you that.
Okay.
I don't think I've told you that.
But the negative factions, the elite, the negative part, the dark side, believe they're bringing in the light by pushing the dark. I mean, just to be an outside observer, I'd say, yeah, that makes sense.
It's order out of chaos.
I mean, but it's also going, hey, you know what? I can have it all here. All I got to do is be negative and help out the people. Okay, cool. I'll do that. And not have any conscience at all. Just do it.
How they help the people is by creating the problem in the first place, getting the people to ask for the help.
Right, and then they beg for McDonald's. Please give us food all the time. Okay, we'll get. Is that what you want? You want instant food? You got it.
Exactly. While they eat filet mignon.
Which I'm sure is good for you too.
Yeah, right.
John, I'm going to cut out.
I love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Excellent talking to you. I don't know, man. I'd say look into the moon thing more, but you already did.
Well, I've looked into some of it. The thing, my mind is still boggled by the whole moon and how it works.
I'm just telling you, the last couple of nights, I've seen parts of the moon that should not be dark that are. That's the only. I don't know how else to explain it.
One of the things I appreciate more than anything.
What's that?
The fact that you call it a rabbit
What?
in the moon. Because not everybody I've talked to sees a rabbit. They see everything from Pluto to all kinds of different things.
Oh,
I've always seen the rabbit. That was always a thing for me.
But I remember as a child that it was upside right,
Yeah, exactly.
and now it's upside down. And the other day it was turned the other way, and I, was doing my physical thing and blew it off, and it was full. The last full moon I saw, I'm like, well, the rabbit's not in the right spot. What? Oh, maybe that's because the moon's in a different spot now, and I'm seeing it from a different angle. It's full. You're going to see, if it's full, and the dark side's always dark, you're always going to see the same thing. But
The sun used to be gold too before the
but now parts of the rabbit for me are dark, and now today they're more lighter, but parts of it are still dark. And tomorrow I figure the full rabbit will be out there. That should be impossible. With a half moon, you should not be able to see the full rabbit if you see the full rabbit with a full moon.
That's right.
Is it? Is that unless it's spinning? But it's not supposed. And if it is spinning, it's always facing the sun anyway. That same side, which makes no sense at all.
And how come in the daytime we can see a partial sun, partial moon? Why are we not seeing the whole moon lit up?
Yeah, I don't get that. One of my videos, when I was redoing all my videos for my Mind Beyond Matter site, and I redid all the videos, one of the videos came up, and it was one of the blooper videos, because it was something that I thought, that's stupid. I was filming the moon during the day, and I said, how come the dark side of the moon is the exact same side as the color, as the same color as the sky all the time?
Exactly.
You know, I don't understand that. And I kind of blew it off because I'm like, well, I don't know where to go with that. I don't know. All right, John. You enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good movie night with Michelle.
All right, love you, bro. I love you.
Love you too. Tell her I love her and have a great night.
All right, bye-bye.
You know, I'm going to sit here and go ahead. And you probably already got some, because while I've talked to him for a half hour before you started getting any of this. I meant to ask him live if it was okay for me to go ahead and post this. I haven't had a video in a while. This will be a good 35-minute video with him going. It's what it's mainly going to be. I love it. And there's other things that I've been, just things that I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to post, but this is an idea. Let me pop it up. And I just go ahead and film it. I'm sure you'll get a bunch of those.
The bottom of the rabbit
All right,
is
look,
on the dark side
it's
of
a
the moon.
half hour since I
How's
said
that
the moon,
possible?
and I'm talking about the moon, and
If the dark side of the moon has never seen the light
it's
of
gone.
day, and the day side has never
and I
seen
thought
the
it came into my window a little bit quick. And
You
now
know,
it,
you
I
think,
mean,
well, never really
I
looked
think
at
I
the
could have
moon
sat
before.
there and
Well,
watched
I
it
have,
move.
I never studied it like this, and this is with the naked eye.
You know, I read this 2 weeks ago, and it said, compromise is the theft of joy. And I had to think about it. Compromise is a theft of joy. And I thought, yeah, I guess kind of. I can understand that. Now, I'm sitting here watching Curiouser and Curiouser's latest video. Today is the 14th of November. Soft and dry. I've heard it from a couple other channels. Absolutely guaranteed. Y. Soft and dry. D-R-Y. And now it's always been D-R-I. And I'm looking at this Ross Dress for Less. Something's definitely wrong with it. I didn't see what they said. Let's see. Many do remember the Ross with the Dress for Less under. Okay, they said the Dress for Less was never under it. Look, they got all these lines through every letter. The R, the E, the F, the other E. The O is broken. The R is... All the letters are wrong and different from me. Dress for Less, was it under it? I'm not sure. I'm going to say, yeah, it was under it. Now they got it next to it. Alright, so... But the whole...